Keep it going for Dale and everyone else you've seen tonight. And I'm so excited that you're all here. This is really amazing, especially you, sir. But before we get started, I got to get something off my chest. When I first heard that I was going to be playing a show called the Fishbowl comedy show at a place called Koi, I was extremely excited. Because I'm a guy who likes an aquarium. I like fish, I think they're cool. And I got here and I looked around. There's not a fishbowl in the place. There's not a koi fish in the place either. There's not even a goldfish behind the bar. It's false advertising, people. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Okay, I'm getting over it because I'm starting to realize this is a problem all over the city. A couple weeks ago, my girlfriend texted me. She said, "Hey, we should go to the Cactus Club for dinner." I was concerned because I don't even own a cactus. But it's okay, she owns two, we're going to be fine. So we go, I make the reservation, we go down to the restaurant, I go in, and I tell them, the reservation for Lucas Hughes, yeah, come right this way. They didn't even ask about if I owned a cactus. Not a very exclusive club, I was feeling okay. So we go in, we sit down, we had a very nice meal. But the whole time I was incredibly uncomfortable. Because I was looking around the whole restaurant, no cacti. Not even one, not even in the bathroom. No cactus in the place. And it could have ended there. At the end of the meal, when the waitress came up, she said, "How was everything?" I said, "It was great. The food was excellent. The service, exceptional. But I do have one very serious complaint." Her face fell immediately like the face of a waitress who's about to receive a very serious complaint. And I said, "There's no cactus." She laughed, I laughed, we all had fun. Then we walked out to the parking lot and I thought, more people need to know about this. So I sat in the car, I pulled out my phone, I got on Google reviews. I wrote, the food was great, the service was exceptional, but there was no cacti. I felt incredibly misled about the amount of cactuses in the place. 4 stars. And that could have been the end of the story. But about 2 weeks later, I get an email from Google saying somebody has replied to my Google review. It was the Cactus Club. It said, "We're sorry to hear about your horrific experience. We would love the opportunity to earn 5 stars next time. We've spoken to the management, and your concern has been noted." The point is, the next time I go to the Cactus Club, there better be a fucking cactus. I mean, if you're going to put it in the name, you better have the thing, right? The name is the most important part of a business, you know. I think I'm going to start my own business. It's going to be a coffee shop. And I'm going to start it in a church for a number of reasons. One, good tax benefits to having a business in a church. 2, every Sunday you have a horde of hungover people trying to stay awake during Mass. Great for a coffee shop. But most importantly, it's for the name. You know what I'm going to call the place? Jesus Christ, that's good coffee. It's fantastic. The name will make or break your business. I think somebody ought to start the Curl Up and Dye hair salon. It's been done? Oh, perfect. I got to meet these people. This is fantastic. They're good namers. A friend of mine, he's from Montreal. Does anybody speak French? Okay, you will find this funny. Everybody else just laugh because it's funny. But a friend of mine is from Montreal. He's got a Christmas tree lot. But it's like a non-traditional Christmas tree lot. You see, he leaves the Christmas trees in the field, still planted. And you come to his Christmas tree lot. You go out into the field and you look at the trees. You see the one you want, you come back to the office. Then he gives you a saw, and you go back and you cut down your own tree. It's a brilliant business model. He's got people paying him to do the labor he normally would have to pay somebody to do. It's fantastic. But it's all in the name. You know what he calls the place? Come see, come saw. I told you it was funny. But you gotta be careful with words, man. There's a lot of words with like multiple different meanings. A lot of words that lead you to think one thing and then it's something else. I was driving along the other day. I went past a tire shop. They had a sign in the window that said blowout sale. But if they're going to blow out, it's a good thing they're on sale. That's why I come to my tire shop to avoid blowouts. Yeah. I was at the grocery store the other day, walking down the juice aisle, because I enjoy some juice. And I was marveling at the sheer volume of juice we have available to us in 2022. It's really quite remarkable. See, I remember when I was a kid, you just had the basics: apple, orange, grapefruit if you were lucky, and on special occasions, cranberry. That was it. But nowadays, you got the exotics. You got the peach juice, the pear juice, the guava juice, you got the pineapple juice, you got the mixes, you got the strawberry, the raspberry, the almond juice. Although they call it almond milk, but it's just because nobody can write nut juice on a bottle of white liquor. But when I got to the end of the aisle, I saw something that concerned me: watermelon beverage. I thought to myself, what the hell is this beverage and why is it in my juice aisle? And I'm a curious guy. So I decided to find out. I did a little bit of research. I found out if you're going to call it juice, it has to contain some of the thing it says it's juice of. But if you're going to call it beverage, it contains whatever the fuck you want. That led me to wonder, you honestly mean to tell me you can get enough liquid out of a carrot to make proper juice, but you can't get enough liquid out of a watermelon to make proper juice? I mean, we're talking about the juiciest fruit in the produce aisle. Water is half the name. Now, I was very upset. But while I was at the grocery store, walking out of the juice aisle into the produce department, I spotted some pistachios. Because they never hang out in the nut aisle with the other nuts. But you know, I had found $10 in my pocket earlier that day. I was feeling a little bit flush. I thought, I deserve a pistachio. You only live once. So I grabbed some pistachios. I threw them in my basket. I went home. I forgot about my pistachios. But a couple days later, I was sitting on the couch writing some jokes. Thought, I want a pistachio. So I go to the kitchen, and now pistachios take some commitment to eat. You know what I mean? You need a bowl for the seeds, or the nuts. You need a bowl for the shells. You need a hammer, a chisel, some safety glasses, a glass of water maybe. So I gathered up my equipment. I go out, I sit back down on the couch, and I pull out the first pistachio. Now this was one of those pain in the ass pistachios that's not quite open. You know the one that I'm talking about? But I'm the sort of guy who finishes what I start. So I'm not going to put this motherfucker back in the bowl and try again. No, I'm going to wedge my way, and I have a chisel. So 17 minutes later, when I finally had the shell off it, I pop it in my mouth, and immediately I knew something was wrong. I spit it out. It tasted disgusting. But man, my bag of pistachios is expired. It's gone rancid. I'll return it to the store, get my money back. So I go into the kitchen, I pull up the bag and check the date. Nope, it wasn't expired. No, you see, I had grabbed the unsalted pistachios.
Oh, yeah.
Turns out, I don't fucking like pistachios. I like salt. In the least convenient way I can get it. Yeah, it was terribly disappointing, but it has saved me a fortune on pistachios. Yeah, but you know, I was speaking about the grocery store, and I discovered something the other day that really bothers me. Fabric grocery bags are a scam. Right? Okay, come with me on this one, because a few years ago they told us we got to stop using single-use plastic bags. They're killing all the turtles, the planet is dying, and it's all the grocery bags' fault. But if you think about it, grocery bags were never single-use plastic.
No.
No, you see, the old system was you'd go to the grocery store completely unprepared. You'd gather your groceries, as many as you wanted, because it didn't matter if they fit into the bags you brought from home. You'd go to the cashier, they would bag it up in plastic, no questions asked, and you'd go home. Then you'd unpack your groceries, you'd put them away, and then would you throw those bags in the garbage? No. You'd stuff them into a bigger bag under the kitchen sink for when you needed a plastic bag. And then you would use them if you needed a garbage bag, or you're taking your dog for a walk, you need to clean up some dog shit, you need to take your lunch to work and you forgot to wash out your lunch bag. These were multi-use plastic bags. So they pulled them off the market because we had to get rid of single-use plastic bags. And now they sell us these fabric grocery bags for whatever 15 cents at the checkout. And they almost had me. They almost had me. But then I realized one day when I was in my kitchen, that I needed a garbage bag for the garbage can, because that's where you put a garbage bag. And I didn't have any under the kitchen sink, so I had to go and buy a bag, plastic, specifically to put in the garbage can and then throw in the garbage. That is a single-use plastic bag. I was taking my dog for a walk, dog took a shit, same thing. I had to go buy a little roll of plastic bags to use one time. So really, fabric grocery bags have actually increased the amount of single-use plastic bags we're using. It's a scam. But not only that. You see, you may not know this about me, but I'm not exactly the most prepared person in the world. I don't plan my grocery trips, which means I don't usually have a stash of reusable bags in my car. So when I go to Safeway and I get my groceries, I get to the till and they're always like, well, do you have your own bag? I'm like, no, I don't have my own bag. I forgot it. I always forget it. But I'll buy some of those 15-cent fabric bags you got. Again, I'm doing my part for the environment because I am team environment, as long as it's convenient. So I got my fabric bag. I go home. I paid my 15 cents for it. I stick it in the drawer. But the other day, I was making nachos. It's related, I promise. Now, I'm a 32-year-old man, so kitchen equipment is not high on my priority list of things to purchase. So I don't own an oven mitt. I usually use a tea towel. But on this particular day, my tea towel was in the laundry. My nachos were about to burn and I had a serious problem on my hands. What am I going to do? And there on the counter was my little black Safeway reusable fabric bag. Right? It's fabric, should be fine. It'll pad. I've only got to get it from there to there. No problem. I've never seen something melt so fast. Okay, like these fabric bags, they're fucking plastic bags. The whole thing is a huge scam designed to get us to buy more single-use plastic and then sell us more plastic bags to use instead of the plastic bags we used to use. It's insane. Okay? It's absolutely fucking insane. It's as bad as the paper straw, bro. You know these paper straws I'm talking about? The ones that fall apart in your drink and add a little bit of extra fiber to your diet when you don't want it? I was at McDonald's the other day. It may be hard to tell from that angle, sir, but I am a man who likes McDonald's once in a while. And I bought a drink. And they gave it to me with a paper straw. I was excited. I'm like, man, they're doing their part. Except that the drink was in a plastic cup. Like, somebody has missed the point here. Much like the plastic bag problem, they've increased the amount of plastic in the whole equation in the name of saving the environment. It's ridiculous. And it's gone to ridiculous lengths, you know? McDonald's does it, Starbucks does it, it's crazy. And you know what else is crazy? Back in the old days, McDonald's used paper cups and plastic straws. They used to have the equation right and they changed it when the environmentalists put pressure on them. I've determined it's all a huge scam. There's a lot of scams going on these days. COVID, for instance. But I'm not like a conspiracy guy. I don't own a tinfoil hat. I don't believe Bill Gates is out to kill us all. But I think that at some point in late 2019, there was a convention. It was a convention of the Plexiglass Manufacturers Association. And at some point during that convention, a conversation took place that went something like this. Psst, Steve, get over here. Sales have been really down the last couple of years. Have you noticed that? He's like, yeah, you know what, Jeff? They have been. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to put my kids through school. I got a warehouse full of stock that I can't move. Third guy overhears the conversation and he comes walking up and says, psst, I got an idea, guys. Global pandemic. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to convince people that it is not safe to stand close to each other unless there's a piece of plexiglass in between them. It has to be plexiglass, not real glass. Real glass might break and everybody might die. And then we will install plexiglass at every single establishment everywhere. and we'll put it just to the right of where the debit machine is. So that we can put a sign on the plexiglass that says, please stay behind the plexiglass, but we'll make it impossible to stay behind the plexiglass. And they'll have to move to the side and be incredibly self-conscious about their interaction with the cashier at this point. It's really a remarkable thing. But that's why I think COVID came along. I really do. I think that's what it is. But they didn't account for something. Because when the whole pandemic started to slow down, all of a sudden, there is a ton of used plexiglass on the market. So sales for those guys, in the toilet. It just shows if you have a business, you should pick a good name to get sales. Don't try to fool your customers into buying your plexiglass. A lot of other interesting things happened during this pandemic. And you know what? I don't care. Like, this has been very polarizing for everybody, and I don't care. Get your shot, don't get your shot, wear your mask, don't wear your mask. I am right in the middle. But there's one particular group of people that has come to my attention that I cannot support. That's these people that drive around with their masks hanging from the rear of their head. I mean, what kind of virtue signaling bullshit are we talking about? It's like, I'm not going to wear my mask while I'm alone in the car. I'm not one of those weirdos. But I am going to make sure that everybody knows I have it, just so they don't think that I want Grandma to die. I'm like, come on, people, crumple that shit up and shove it in your dirty ass pocket like the rest of us. It's those pocket germs that are going to help your immunity in the first place. Right? Yeah. I take things too literally sometimes. A friend of mine texted me last winter. He said, hey man, we should go ice fishing. I said, ice fishing? No need, I keep ice in the freezer. Another friend a few days ago invited me to the fruit stand. I was disappointed when it all just sat there. I heard about the stock market crash, and I'm still trying to figure out how so many people lost money on a car accident at a slaughterhouse. But this whole literal thinking thing became a problem for me a few weeks ago when I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, the same one who invited me ice fishing. He was telling me about salmon ladders. Have you heard about these salmon ladders? I had not heard about them either. It's a crazy concept, and I'm thinking, salmon ladder, salmon trying to climb a ladder? Nope, couldn't be that. That's ridiculous. What could a salmon even need a ladder for? It's a fish. He doesn't have gutters to clean out, or Christmas lights to hang, or ceiling fans to dust. It's ridiculous. He says, no. It's a series of pools around a hydroelectric dam that allow the salmon to get upstream and spawn. I thought, well, there's got to be a better way to describe that. Like a series of pools around a hydroelectric dam that allow the fish to get upstream to spawn. But anyway. A couple days after that, I'm driving along in my pickup truck, listening to CBC like you do, and a program came on. They were interviewing a bunch of environmentalists who said that salmon ladders across the country had to be replaced by fish cannons. My literal brain kicked in again. I'm thinking, what the hell is a fish cannon? I'm imagining a cannon with a fish flying out the end of it. Turns out that's exactly what it is. It's a cannon with fish, just flying out the end of it. It's crazy. And as they were talking on the radio, they're talking about how these salmon were being injured as they climbed these salmon ladders. I'm not surprised. Ladders are dangerous. And so, to prevent injuries, they needed to shoot them out of the cannons. Think for a minute about what this means. At some point, there was a meeting of environmentalists. Lots of beards and patchouli. It was an interesting meeting. And at some point somebody said, how are we going to prevent these salmon injuries, man? And everybody put forth their idea, and finally towards the end of the meeting, the quiet guy in the back corner of the room put his hand up. He says, we're going to shoot them out of a cannon. And it didn't stop there, because everybody else agreed that that was the best idea. I don't know about you guys, but if I think about preventing injuries, cannons are almost never involved. All right, I'm going to leave you guys there. That was a whole lot of fun.